In the 1930s and 40s, Broadway was the place to come, to see theater, to dine, and to shop. Everyone came downtown.
And so our vision for bringing back Broadway was to bring back the beautiful historic theaters, great places like Clifton's, and make it a destination point once again.
This is Los Angeles royalty, this building. And the history and the stories and the days that we're here represent for all of us the incredible way that we have collectively been part of this city of angels.
And while I was reading Clifford Clinton's original diaries that he wrote in the 1930s, he wrote one line on one full page of his diary. He wrote it underscored and he put 3 exclamation points. And that was, "The spirit needs nourishment too."
Right here, you guys, straight ahead. Come on, June, big smile. That's it, right here. Right here.
Nobody saw that, right? It's so much, it's kind of overwhelming, and I'm like schwitzing because it's so shocking to see the whole reinvented, reinterpreted version of this Los Angeles icon that for decades was, a destination location, and then it went away for a few years, and now it's back. And there's no question about the fact they have completely succeeded. It is total homage to the layers of time of Clifton's and the style of Clifton's and everything else having to do with this incredible institution. So thank you, Andrew Meieran, who is the king now. And I wish I had a crown because I would put it on his head and say, "You are royalty."
I felt completely I was going to do this. It was something that encompassed all of my passions. It had architecture, it had history, it had different design elements, it had conservation and preservation. It was something that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime project.
I heard earlier there were some interesting stories about construction. What's the strangest thing you found as you were kind of dismantling things?
There are so many strange things that I've come across and so many unexpected things. It's hard to even pin as the strangest. I think certainly the neon, finding the neon in the wall that was embedded inside the sheetrock was truly breathtaking. It was a wall that was an exterior wall to the building, and light was coming out of the wall in the basement. And so that was something that completely baffled me until we had to disassemble the wall and find out what was inside.
There was actually electricity going through the neon when
Yes.
you really?
It was completely lit, and it was as it was in 1935, I guess, when it was installed.
Within this story of this tree here, can you tell me a little bit about how that came to be?
It's a giant coastal redwood. It's actually patterned after an actual tree within a place called Cathedral Grove, which is in Muir Woods. And it's, I think, the most extraordinary grove of redwoods. It ended up being where they had a ceremony to commemorate the death of Franklin Roosevelt. And it was also where I had a convocation ceremony for the United Nations when they met in San Francisco. So it's this very, very special grove, and I remember it from one of my earliest travels when I was a child with my parents.
We're really a proud company that believes in giving people second, third, and fourth chances. So to that end, we've reached out to our local community, the Midnight Mission, Chrysalis, Union Rescue, CORE. We've reached out to the LGBTQ community as well to hire people that other people have decided that they don't deserve another chance, but not us. We're hopeful that by giving someone a job and rebuilding their self-esteem and helping them complete programs, that they'll be great and contributing members of society. We've already hired 10% of our staff from these programs, and they've been great and successful, and we're so happy to have them.
So you're actually keeping up a tradition, because I understand that food was given away in the past. People were fed whether they had money or not, is that correct?
In the past, the Clinton family, when they opened it, their inspiration was to feed anyone and everyone who came through the door, and so they graciously and generously gave out meals. We too will give out meals, but in a different way. we're going to allow our guests that come through the line to say, keep the change, and we'll put that towards a meal program. We'll create meal tickets for those who cannot afford a meal. But in addition, we're going to hire people from programs so that they can afford their own meals and have self-respect and be part of society.
When I was growing up, my parents and I lived in Las Feliz. My grandfather's house was bombed, and a lot of the people in that area, that community, were aware of that, and they were it was quite a dramatic series of incidents that happened. And my grandmother still has a very good memory, and she remembers a lot of that. So it was really at her urging that I wrote the book. She said, you know, a lot of this has not been written about. There's really been no good story of Clifton or Clifford that's been written. So I think you should write it. I actually worked here as a busboy and as a cashier.
Do you remember what your favorite meal was?
Deep fried halibut with lemonade, and I loved the carrot salad, and of course the strawberry pie was amazing.
I know that the number one question on everybody's lips is, are we going to still have Jell-O? That seems to be the question for the last 4 years that I was asked repeatedly by almost everybody that met me. They said, are we going to have Jell-O? And I said, yes, of course we're going to have Jell-O. Clifton's isn't the same without the Jell-O.